What's up guys, Riley here, and today we're going to be working on some window frames in the shop. And I have one full window in, I've got one taken apart that I've been in the process of working on, and I have one that actually just broke yesterday due to a storm, and it blew the window open because it wasn't locked and broke the glass in it. And all of the framing on it is rotten. So I'm going to have to replace it, and I might as well replace it before I put another window in it, just so I don't have to deal with it. And just to keep me from breaking the glass, or, well, I'll have plexiglass in it so it's less likely to break, but it'll keep me from scratching it up when it's laying down while I'm fixing the frame. I mean, for the window. So I've got two boards that I can use for the window that broke. It's from the window that I'm working on, and they got messed up, so I can't exactly use them for it. So I'm going to be getting those prepared, and I'm going to be getting a few of the boards for the window in front of me fixed that got messed up, which are these. The spar urethane started peeling off of them, kind of like sunburn when you get sunburned. So I'm going to have to strip up all the spar urethane and redo it. I don't have any spar urethane right now, so I'll have to get some. But let's go ahead and get into the video. So here's the window that was in front of me. And this is what I've gotten done so far. This board and that board go on the sides of it. But the spar urethane was peeling off like sunburn, like I said when I was putting it in. So I tried to put some more on it, but I didn't have enough, so it was kind of messed up. But if I go right here, this board, oh, maybe not knock that down. This board has to be planed and put linseed oil and spar urethane on it. But that will go on that window, which does not have a window on it because that's the one that broke. I just finished taking the glass out of it. There's glass all over the floor. Some of it, I don't know where it's at. And then this is the board that got messed up. The holes are misdrilled by a lot because when I was drilling the holes, it moved over, so it was not very square with what it was supposed to be. So I'm going to be I'm able, because that window, those longer boards are shorter than this, so I'm able to cut it right here on the line, or not on the line, but on the dots, on the holes that I made to put it in that window. So that'll definitely help me a lot, and it'll save me a lot of time. And one problem I do have is, if you see, that's cracked right there, and then it's cracked right there. And I don't want to take this out and the cinder blocks fall on me, because that could hurt me very bad. So I don't want that to happen. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the window frame out. So this just opens, and then the window will go in that. But it has rotted terribly, y'all. I think y'all have seen that. Depends on if you watch my videos much. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a board and I'm going to cut it so it fits here to here. And I'm going to do two of them, so I can put one on this side and one on this side, just to hold this up and to keep that from falling. And then I'll take these sideboards out and replace those. And then those, because they're pushing on that, they'll hold this up for me. And then I can take these boards out. Which this one I could probably take out now, but then I would have a gap in between the cinder block and the frame. And I don't really want to do that right now because I don't have the board for that. So that's what I've got going on. I'm going to go ahead and get into working on these boards. I'm going to peel up the spar urethane off of those smaller boards. So I've got this, which is to peel bark off, but so far it's been working pretty good on that, so I'm going to use it on these. I'm going to go ahead and get into peeling it off. So right about halfway through shaving off the spar urethane, sorry about the light, I went ahead and ran them through the planer. Just a thin layer cut off. So now, just about all of the spar urethane is off. So that right there's a few spots on them where they do have spar urethane, but it should be good. I'll sand it down so that the next coat of spar urethane can get a good grip onto the wood and whatever spar urethane is left. So now I've got the planer out, I might as well go ahead and plane that other board I was telling y'all about. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that through the planer. So I've got the planer and the board. Now this board is 2 inches, and the board I need, or as thick as I need it to be, I need it about 1 3/4 inch, so I need to plane about 1/4 of an inch off. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to planing. So it didn't take too long, and we've gotten it planed down. Now I do have some little marks here, which I'm gonna leave just to kind of leave some evidence that I did that. And so far, it turned out to be very nice. It's got a few knots in it, which I like when the knots are in the wood. And then there's a sap deposit, I guess you would call it. So that's just a bunch of sap, where sap would kind of produce. Now, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put this away, and I'm going to get this board cut down to size. So I'm going to need to measure, and I'm actually going to get both boards down to size because this one's ready, and the one right there is ready to get cut down to size, and then I can get the linseed oil on it, which I'm going to cut it. The reason I'm cutting it down to size now instead of later is because even though this one I'm only cutting about an inch off, it's just that much linseed oil that I don't have to use. So just trying to save because I use a lot of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this cut and then some linseed oil on it. So I got this board cut down to size 44.5 inches. And this one was actually already 44.5 inches, so I didn't have to cut that one. So a little bit of time saved. And now, the last thing we're going to do in this video is I'm going to go ahead and put the first coat of linseed oil on it. Depending on how this eats the linseed oil, depends on how much I'm going to put in it, just because the different thicknesses of the board takes different amounts of linseed oil. Now this board took a lot of linseed oil, so I cut about 2 inches off of each side of this board, and there's linseed oil all through here, so it soaked up good, which is nice. Now one thing is, I still have these holes, so maybe I can use those instead of re-drilling new holes. So hopefully I can use those holes for the window, the side window, or the back window, but on the side of the window. Hopefully I can use those holes for it, and I'll just take the concrete drill bit and I'll put it through there and then into the concrete. So that's what I'll do with those, but not in this video. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to linseed oil, ling that board. So I've got the board nice and linseeded, and it's a little red. The past boards I've done haven't really been that red, but this one's a little red, so I don't know what the deal with that is. But there we go. I've got all the linseed oil on all the sides, on the end, the top, and the bottom. So it's nice and linseed oiled, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to set it up to dry. Over here, those aren't drying, they're just kind of sitting out. But I'm going to set this out to dry. There's nowhere really sunny to set it right now. But, so, other than that, that'll be about it for this video. I'm trying to make these videos a little bit shorter because they can get quite boring when it's just a bunch of time lapse throughout the whole video. But other than that, like and subscribe, and I'll see you later.